Ready to be inspired? Welcome to another edition of the South Florida Writers Association's Author Showcase for the month of June, featuring John C. Davis, author of the book A Great Healing, The Age of Compassion is Upon Us. The Authors Showcase series is only one of the association's programs for audience development for literary works and platform for authors who are members of the association to discuss their books and market them in collaboration with Books and Books. The South Florida Writers Association is a tax-exempt nonprofit membership organization dedicated to the literary arts and support of writers in the community. Visit our website, www.southfloridawriters.org, for more information. Better still, join us and enjoy many membership benefits. Tonight, I am excited about our featured author, John C. Davis, because aside from being a writer, he is a speaker and musician based in South Florida. What a cool combination! John spent much of his career as a music educator for middle and high schools, but he is now focused on his writing career. He is interested in celebrating the endless beauty of the human spirit. His book, A Great Healing, The Age of Compassion is Upon Us, was written during the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a series of essays that will provide a healing balm for your soul and a guiding light to cope with any challenging or life-altering situation. Let John take you on a journey to discover your inner strength through compassion, allowing you to overcome the challenges of our times. So, friends, let's hear it from author John C. Davis, starting with a book trailer and his discussion of the book.
Hi, this is author John C. Davis. The pandemic has been challenging for all of us. People have lost jobs, homes, and precious loved ones. The experience has also been a wake-up call for humanity. It is bringing us in touch with how much we have, what is important to us, and what we need to let go of. In my book, A Great Healing, I present a series of essays that convey my struggles to understand the lessons from this landmark time in our history. The lessons learned that will help to move us forward. With the support of many friends and loved ones, this painful time is being transformed into a time of healing. In my book, I propose that there are solutions for the many emotional difficulties that we are all trying to work through right now. My prayer is that this book will also speak to anyone needing a healing in any area of their life. In A Great Healing, I share my daily walks to the butterfly garden, prayer and meditation, and my gratitude to those frontline workers who are helping us through this. I relate my story about a friendly squirrel who reminded me that we will get through this. There are also stories of gratitude, connection with a greater source, and the courage it takes to reach out for help. A Great Healing is a bright light to guide you on your path. It will remind you that though there is great pain, there is also a great opportunity for change. We can together learn from these difficult times to be a more loving society. This could be the time we learn to love each other the way we were meant to, the beginning of the age of compassion. Thank you, Evelyn, for the introduction and inviting me to speak tonight. It is quite an honor to speak. And I especially want to thank the South Florida Writers Association again for asking me to speak this evening. I want to talk about that trailer that you just watched a little bit. a moment ago. My wife, Rachel Davis, produced that trailer for the book. So I thought she did a beautiful job on that, and I appreciate Evelyn for sharing that. The book, A Great Healing. I wrote this book during the pandemic, within the past year. A lot of the reason for writing this book was it gave me an opportunity to process my feelings around the pandemic that I was having in my own personal life. And I know as a writer, one of the duties, maybe is a strong word, but one of the obligations is to create work that allows people to process, to work through things. And the beautiful thing about reading, one of the many things, is that we can process our feelings in the privacy of our own mind. We can read a book and explore our own feelings. And so I wrote this book both as an opportunity for me to work through some things, but also to give the reader an opportunity to look at some of the opportunities that we have. In some ways, I was blessed this year. I didn't get COVID myself, but I know friends who had died, who got sick. So it has been close to home. Even though it didn't come to my home, it was very close. And I wanted to explore some of the lessons. There's an old Chinese proverb that talks about crisis being the same as an opportunity, or opportunity being the same as a crisis. And this time in history, I believe, is an opportunity for us to be more compassionate towards ourselves, be compassionate towards society, and to learn some lessons that I believe will move us forward. I would like to share some readings from my book. The book is written in 3 chapters. And in each chapter, there's a series of essays. And what I'd like to do is read 2 essays from each chapter. I wanted to start with the introduction, which I believe will give you an idea of the book. In our world, we need a healing. Our world is in a pain in a different way than it's been in a long time. Of course, it's not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last. What gives me hope is remembering that our planet has survived many periods of great difficulty and somehow survived. Our history books document the many periods of great pain that our planet has endured, including the birth of the planet itself. I look upon the history of our Earth and receive great comfort in knowing that we will survive. I turn on the news and see stories of heroism taking place every day. I see people going out of their way to do great deeds for people less fortunate than they are. This is who we are. This is what we came here to do. From a spiritual perspective, I see the turmoil in the world as a great opportunity for us to love each other more. There are numerous ways that we can reach out to our brothers and sisters right now. Healing begins from within. When we begin to love the parts of ourselves that are hurting, we can begin to forgive ourselves. Those parts of our lives those parts of my life that we think are broken are just in need of love. We need to be tender to it. We need to treat that beautiful hurting soul as we would a child who is crying for help. Would we ignore the cries of a lonely and hurting child? No, then we cannot ignore ourselves. The healing that begins to emanate from our souls in this brilliant light will shine upon a hurting world. The cracks and fissures that show up from eons of societal pain will begin to mend. We need this mending. We need to make amends. So I'm going to read a little bit from chapter 1. Chapter 1 is entitled, "The Spirit Moves Us." And I'm going to read an essay entitled When We Are Connected. And again, the first chapter is about the spirit and getting in touch with our spiritual side. Beyond our minds, there is a place. There is a place beyond the mind. It's beyond thinking. It's beyond comprehending. It's beyond believing. It's a place of direct experience. Some of us experience this in meditation. Some experience this while exercising. Some will even experience it while traveling to a new place. I don't know what this place is called, but I know it when I'm there. It is a place of deep peace and contentment. It is a place where the opinions of other people don't matter anymore. It is the connection to Source. What is Source? Source is anything that gives you a feeling of safety. It is anything that will give you a feeling of being connected to everything around you. When you encounter your Source, you will know it. There is never a doubt, never ever an ambiguity about what this is. We all have a different name for it. Some call it God, some call it the One, some call it nature, some will call it Mother Earth. Whatever name you attach to it, it is fine. But we all know it when it's present. Writers experience this connection when they write. There is often a feeling of being led to a place you are not aware of until you get there. Writers, including myself, will often tell of an inner voice pointing us towards the next path to go down. It is sometimes a scary thing to allow the voice to lead us. But when we allow ourselves to listen to that voice, it will often guide us to a beautiful place. Only after we arrive and uncover the message will we fully understand the message it has for us. I would entertain the idea that not only writers experience it. I believe painters, musicians, architects, sculptors, and other creative types all know exactly what I'm describing. It is a special nirvana of sorts. It's an inner room type of experience that brings us closer to everything and everyone around us. It helps us tap into that special reservoir of knowing which is beyond words. I believe we all need a connector to find this place. I believe we can all relate to sitting on the seashore and looking out over the vast ocean and feeling more connected. When I scuba dive, I certainly feel it. When I go for a hike in the woods, I feel it. When I listen to a symphony orchestra, I feel it. Sitting down and having a wonderful conversation with a loved one connects me. We are meant to be connected to others and to life itself. I'm reminding us that we can connect in an infinite number of ways. I'm an introvert and quite proud of it these days. One of the traits of an introvert is the absolute necessity to find time to be alone and recharge. It is in this alone time where I can find my connection to Source. This is when flow happens. This is when those thoughts from beyond just seem to find their way into my consciousness. Sometimes when I'm alone, the thoughts come so fast that I cannot type fast enough to keep up with them. It's exhilarating when it happens, but it doesn't always happen. When it does, it's amazing. It's healing. It's a bonding experience with Source. This is one of the joys of being alive. This is one of the reasons to be alive, being able to tap into the energy that is beyond all time. I hope you have something that connects you to that Source. When you find it, you will absolutely know you found it. There will be no doubt, and when you do, you will have a profound sense that your life has more meaning. You will know you are meant to be here now. If you find your Source, you will find your soul. I believe this is the most profound truth about all this. If we are truly attentive, anything and everything will ultimately be able to connect us with Source. This past year has allowed me to be alone for long periods of time, and it was an opportunity to discover what my source of comfort is. When I wrote that essay, what I was conveying is I'm inviting the reader to find out what their source is. We've all had a source this past year, whatever that is. Some people it's nature, some people it's family, for some people It's a spiritual setting, church of some kind. For me, nature has been a savior this year. It's been such a savior. And my wife and I, every day, we would go on this daily ride. We'd go ride out to the butterfly garden and sit there on a bench and watch the butterflies. And it was a really neat time, because before the pandemic, our life was so busy that we had a hard time scheduling those kind of things. So it was quite beautiful. And in fact, there's one chapter in the first, or one essay in the first chapter. It's called The Daily Ride. And I'd invite you, if you be so kind, to get the book, to read that. It's a really special chapter. It's called The Daily Ride. I do want to move on to the second chapter. And this chapter is called Helping Hands and Open Hearts. The first essay I want to read is called From Farm to Table. I'm not a farmer. I'm not an expert on how to distribute food. What I do know is that I'm grateful. I'm grateful when I open my refrigerator and it has food in it. On most days, I don't think how amazing it is that this food found its way onto my table. Today, I am. We are living in a time of food insecurity and economic insecurity. I'm keenly aware of this. In this moment, I want to express gratitude for the hundreds of people that it took to get the food from the farm to my table. Somebody had to pick out the seeds that would go in the ground. Then somebody had to put the seeds in the machines that planted the seeds. Then they were planted in the ground. Then they were harvested by somebody. Then somebody had to get the food on a truck. Then some beautiful soul had to drive the truck. Then this beautiful soul delivered it to the store. Then some amazing human being stocked the shelves. Then a wonderful person cooked the food. I am blessed to be married to a wonderful wife who is gifted with many culinary skills. I do my best to help in the kitchen, but she has the real gift. I know that I'm missing many small steps between all these big steps. What I want to convey is that I acknowledge the commitment that these beautiful souls made to bring me my food. Without them, I would starve. I don't have the ability to do all these steps myself. As I contemplate the beautiful chain of events that take place every day to keep me alive, I'm aware of the dependence that we have on each other. Each person in the supply chain is as important as any other is. Every hand that carries my food is a blessed angel who keeps me alive. My life is connected to every other life. At this time in history, I'm reminded that the person who picks up my garbage is as important as the person who does my taxes. The person who stocks the store shelves is as important as the person who runs my bank. The person who drives the food truck is as important as the president of the large corporation is. The chain of support that keeps me alive is to be celebrated. The chain of support is made up of human beings. This beautiful chain of support is to be honored and cared for. I invite you today, when you take your next bite of food, to remember all the people that brought it to you. If you are one of these beautiful souls who helped me to survive another day, I want to express my gratitude. You are my hero. You are keeping me alive today. Thank you. And again, that was Farm to Table. I see clearly now how the world is connected. That's where this essay came from, that I'm dependent on everyone for my survival. Gratitude wells up in me when I realize that my life is literally dependent on the good deeds of others. I woke up to this during the past year. There are many heroes working behind the scenes every day to keep my life going. And I hope that I will never look down on a person who maybe does a menial job. These jobs are as important as anything else because they sustain me. I am not an island by myself, and I need other people. And continuing on with chapter 2, there's another essay in there that I would invite you to read. It's called You Are a Healer, and this talks about being we can be a healer to other people. And again, it goes back to what I was talking about, farm to table, that we're all connected. And I invite you to read that essay in chapter 2 also, because it talks about that we're all basically spiritual leaders in our own right. Even if we don't have a spiritual title, we can be there for other people. Even having somebody cry on your shoulders, you're a healer. Listening to other people, you are a healer. I'm going to move on to chapter 3. This is the third chapter. And it's entitled Hope for Our Future. And the essay I'd like to read from there is The Delay Creates Your Opportunity. This is about slowing down, which we've all had a chance to do this year. Delays, I don't like them. Nobody does. Who wants to wait in a traffic jam? How about a line in a store? How about waiting for a check to come in the mail? Being delayed can be aggravating. Last Saturday, my cell phone died. I was going to work. I had to cancel work. Again, I was delayed. Waiting teaches me patience. It teaches me that not everything is going to go my way. In fact, most things will not go my way. It's just an unpleasant fact. Yesterday, I was driving back from Miami. It was Sunday, the day when I have time to catch up on my bills and emails. I was going about 4 miles per hour when I wanted to be going 60. I wanted to pull my hair out. If I had more hair, I probably would have. In my mind, it was a waste of time. Nothing good was coming from sitting in Miami traffic. My next thought was from the divine. John, why don't you listen to a podcast you've wanted to listen to for a while? I didn't know exactly where that thought came from. I just knew it had to be divinely inspired. I tried to locate the podcast, but didn't have much luck. However, the effort was enough to make me feel grateful to have this time alone. I may not have listened to my podcast in that moment, but it truly changed my thinking about the traffic delay. I was able to shift into a place of gratitude. This shift altered the emotional landscape for the remainder of the day. There's something going on in your life right now that is causing a delay of some kind. It's just life. It happens. Maybe you're waiting for the results of a job interview. Maybe you're waiting for a medical report. Maybe you have a bill to pay and you need more hours at work. You are waiting for something. How can you see this as a blessing rather than a reason to feel like a victim or get angry? Some thoughts may help. Number 1, life just happens. Delays happen. 2, it is not your fault. You are not to blame. Number 3, if someone you did cause this delay, it is a great opportunity to practice some forgiveness and compassion for yourself. 4, it's okay to get frustrated and angry at delays. This is normal. We all do it. It's what we do with the emotions that matters. And number 5, take the opportunity to accomplish something. If you're sitting at the airport waiting for your delayed plane, call a friend. If sitting in traffic, listen to an inspirational podcast. If waiting for your loved one in the hospital waiting room, take time to pray and meditate. Remember, you don't always have to be doing something productive. In fact, sometimes the delay is productive. It might be making space for something unexpectedly wonderful to happen in your life. Who knows? The delay could turn out to be a blessing in disguise. And what I like to say about that is what I've learned over the past year is that slowing down has created many opportunities for growth. It's been a chance to deal with many personal issues in my life that I didn't want to deal with. I got a chance to do some decluttering around my home. I also have grown closer to my parents. Every Sunday, my wife and I call my parents, and these conversations have been wonderful. It created an opportunity to do a lot of writing. There's a wonderful writing platform online that I discovered in the past year called Medium, and there are many wonderful writers on there, and I've been privileged to connect with many great people from all over the world. I really got a chance to work out my writing chops, and I believe some wonderful relationships there will go beyond the pandemic era. I see slowing down as a chance to get in touch with aspects of my life that I couldn't deal with, when I was so busy. And in that third chapter, I would invite you, if you so choose, to read a chapter called Hope Has Not Been Canceled. And I'll just briefly for a moment talk about it and invite you to read it. But I saw a sign on a church moniker. It said, "Hope has not been canceled." I loved that when I saw that. It was so inspiring to me because it reminded me that so many things have been canceled for us in the last year, vacations, etc., to school, all kinds of things. But hope is something we can't cancel. We need it. And as we move forward in time, moving through the pandemic into the post-pandemic era, we need hope. And I believe it's still possible. It's the one thing that we can't cancel. There's one more essay I'd like to read in closing today as I close my discussion of my book. And it's entitled A Great Healing, which is again the title of the book. And I will read that for you. Again, this is called A Great Healing. And this is what I'd like to end on tonight before I say some concluding remarks. A Great Healing. For the rich family living in the beachfront home to the man living under the bridge, the virus is here for a reason. It is here to remind us that we need each other. It is here to remind us that it doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor. It doesn't matter what your race is. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. It doesn't matter what car you drive. You are an important human being because you exist. The greatest threat to our society right now could become our greatest gift, if we let it. If we let this terrible virus remind us of how immensely beautiful we all are, this tragedy could become our healer. I am not saying that this virus is a blessing. It is never a blessing when somebody gets sick or dies, never. What I am saying is that the pain could teach us something about the importance of relationships and how special everyone is on this planet. The pain could be our launching pad for immense healing for our world. Suddenly, health becomes our number one priority. Of course, some of the dark side of humanity is revealed, but it's revealed because it's time to be healed. It is time for our healing. The virus would not be here unless it was time for our world to learn a great lesson. The lesson is that when faced with a crisis that threatens so many people, human beings will find it in their hearts to be more loving towards each other. I believe this crisis will draw us together closer. Like the beautiful butterfly, we will emerge from the cocoon of intolerance and hate. We will fly upon the wind of our loving God, who has always believed in us. The virus will allow our great planet to emerge from the pain to a place of great healing. Will you join me in this hope? And this is my invitation for the reader to join me in this quest for healing. I believe that we all have a part to play. The choice to heal from all this is ours to make. It's not going to be easy, but I believe that we do have the capability to do it. My book, A Great Healing, is my attempt to help heal the hurts we've experienced this past year. I pray that it's a healing balm to the hurting souls in our world. I also hope that this book will have relevance beyond the COVID-19 era. I think that healing takes place in all our lives. We've all had some type of pain and trauma in our own lives. The lessons learned during the pandemic can be applied to any situation. The silver lining, if there is one, is that we're all learning to be better to each other. At least that is the hope. I know there's a lot of chaos and pain right now in many areas of the planet. It is not a rosy picture by any definition. But I pray that we can learn to be better to each other. I pray that this opportunity for more love in the world is not lost once we get back to a new normal. I pray that we don't forget these lessons. Maybe that's why this book is important. It puts in print my hopes and aspirations and puts those lessons into print. Sometimes I forget. We all do. And hopefully a great healing will help the reader remember. Thank you for listening to me today. It's been truly an honor and a pleasure to share this space and time with you. I know your time is valuable and your interest in my book is a blessing to me, and I hope that I've been a blessing to you. Thank you.